titled this video The War at Home because amongst my skin folk, I feel like there are things that need to be addressed because some shit needs to stop. We hold, as people of color, amongst ourselves, we hold these different reservations. We hold bias against each other. We're sexist toward each other. We have a tendency to be colorist even. And we're all black. And it's very interesting because I ask the question time and time again whenever I see and or hear some foolishness. Whenever I hear it, I ask myself, well, how can we really, seriously and truly fight systemic racism and the powers that be if we hold these reservations against each other? If I believe that I should not date a darker skinned person, or if I feel like, oh, all light skinned people are soft, all of these foolish ass stereotypes that people get from memes and, that people make jokes about in social media and things like that. How can we seriously, truly, and honestly bring justice for our people, for each other? How can we push for that policy change when we're looking at each other and we hold our own contempts for one another? How can we? We'll never be able to be that unified front and go full force at a lot of these problems that we're seeing, that we're dealing with, if we're so busy deep down having these deep-seated and deep-rooted that we cover up with the I can't breathe and the don't shoots. We won't be able to really deal with each other if we don't uncover those things and deal with them. We have to be able to join hands with each other. And we can't join hands under a false pretense. We have to truly ask ourselves, who is it that we really hate? Do we really hate ourselves? Or do we really hate the things that the powers that be do to us? Do we really detest them for the redlining, for turning down business loans time and time again, for the poisoning of our water? We are really upset and enraged about these things. We're upset and we're enraged about our misfortunes and our oppression time and time again, and have the audacity to feel like we are better than the next black person. And that they're at some point beneath us. When we're all, truth be told, oppressed. We already don't have the capital for the most part. In all fairness, we are still working on doing business with each other. We're still working on banking black, supporting black businesses. Black businesses are still working on expanding, having better customer service, being able to supply the demand that the consumer asks for. We're still at the framework of finance. And then to add these reservations on top of that, who's to say that when we get to a place where we can put political powers and any other powers, government powers and whoever else, local powers, state powers in a stranglehold with our finances, that we won't be selective on how that opportunity and that justice gets spread out to each other? Who's to say? So we have to start being honest with ourselves. We have to start asking those questions. Am I colorist? Do I feel like a woman has less to say? Do I feel like she is the only person that has something to say and a man can't talk to me? We have to ask ourselves these questions. And then once we're asking ourselves these questions, if we can honestly answer yes. I'm not talking about a day at the bar. I'm not talking about, oh, we saw this video and we're going to sit down and we're going to ask ourselves in the next colored people meeting whether we hold this. Ask it to yourself. When you're in the shower, when you're on the way to work, while you're sitting in the kitchen cooking, while you're just watching TV. Take a moment to ask yourself if you really hold reservations against your own people, whether they be a certain shade or sex. Ask yourself that. And like I said, if you can answer yes, now you can start to do that inside work, because at the end of the day, the solution to just about everything is the inside job. We have to work on ourselves before we can go and connect with other people anyhow. So once we ask ourselves that question, we can then start to do that inside work if we want to. We can then start to do the inside work. And once we started to do that inside work and ask ourselves, why might we? Then we can get to make those amends and realize all chocolate sisters ain't bad. All light-skinned brothers ain't soft. And we can start to see each other for people versus these stupid stereotypes and, like I said, preconceived notions that we hold about each other, because they're very, very silly and they're very trivial, and it keeps us from getting to the goal time and time and time again.